Welcome to the overview of Update 9, and let me say straight away, it's much better than I thought it is. We are going to start with the obvious, the arcade machines. Because I'll be having a proper episode today and we are live streaming, I'm going to show this a bit more in cinematic. So, we have a total of 14 arcade machines. That is going to feature 2 of the old ones returning from Planko 1, that fortune thing and the claw. We have then 3 original Atari ones and 9 original new consoles or arcade machines, including a counter where you can redeem some prizes. That is pretty cool. I like this quite a lot because obviously they have to have all animations. They do have animations for adults, for teens and kids, and also multiple variants for them in different types of games and different types of like celebrative poses or sad or disappointed poses, including redeem poses. A lot of animations, very nice animations, and the atmosphere is absolutely killer. I love it. So move on to the next one. Here's a bit of surprise. I figured that the platforms have been changed in their appearance. They do still function the exact same way, but they have been cramped down a little. They don't really have that thick nubsy at the top anymore. They are much more flat and much more nice, and you can recolor them as per usual, but it seems like they get a lot darker now, which is pretty damn good for making dark rides and so on. Speaking of dark rides, what a segue. Now you can finally turn off the light on coasters that do feature like. For those of you who have seen my golden coaster, you know the struggle I had, and you know that this is kind of killing the vibe if you want to do a full dark ride. Now you can set it to deactivated, activated only at night, or activated or loop, which is kind of cool, so you can actually change how you like your lights on a coaster train, which I do quite like, so that is pretty damn cool. Another little surprise is that all of a sudden we can change the color of concrete pieces. And I'm not speaking of new concrete pieces, no, I'm speaking of the returning concrete pieces that I have implemented upon feedback of a lot of people in the forums. And now upon feedback, they also gave us the chance to, for the first time ever, do actually recolor them, because in Planko 1 they were also not flexicolor. So that's pretty cool, and I really do like my concrete pieces, so big win for me. Let's move on to the next big wins. Because that has not been the only thing about building. They also fixed a couple of old pieces that were brought back from the old themes, and that is specifically fantasy and pirate theme. Some of the wall pieces that have certain angles or like tilted walls, they now automatically create a corner piece, which they didn't used to before, but they did do in Planko 1. Now you can enjoy the same cool transition and seamless corner in Planet Coaster 2 as well. Very nice, thanks, next. Because there are quite a lot of features for coasters. For the coaster enthusiast among you, there are going to be a lot more coaster variants. Speaking of that, it's Outamax and Valet and Nidwalden, or B&M and Intamin, if you will. They come now with a various number of new track elements, thicker spines and different elements. And for the wing coaster, we also do get a LSM launch now, which is pretty helpful to build your coasters in a way that you do enjoy them. If you enjoy shallow pools and you wanted to make sure that they are accessible in winter as well, you needed a heater. Turns out, in the heater update, they didn't do a heater for a shallow pool. Now they added a variant that also works in a shallow pool, which is really good, isn't it? They also did add a new way how to paint staff zones. This is a bit of a weird one because I did do my mega tutorial on the floating island, and we noticed that you cannot paint a staff zone on raised terrain. Now this is fixed. You can now have your staff kind of zone painter to align actually with the terrain below it, which is pretty cool. But equally, it does annoy me that they do tackle staff zones, and I could have survived without this feature, but let me assign staff from that freaking staff zone window. Hopefully they do this in the future. Anyways, a small little fix, I like it. Another fix I do believe that is actually down to my feedback. There are now multiple triggers per train on a ride. And yes, you can even do this on the Omnimover with over 60 rides as well. This means you can now take in individual triggers per different car or train of your ride, which is cool because I initially wanted to do the Golden Coaster with all the 3 voices of the 3 actors or the 3 singers, and I wanted to have different trigger events for different singers and then, you know, have them in a split screen. didn't work, obviously, and so I wrote this feedback to Frontier a while ago, and maybe they have read it, maybe not, I don't know, but this is in now, which is pretty cool. You can now have different triggers per different trains to make different things happening each ride. You know, that also would make rides a lot more re-rideable. Is that how you would pronounce that? Anyways, it's going to make it more exciting, somewhat like Symbolica in the Efteling, for example. That obviously makes people go on it more often because every ride is kind of individual. I like it a lot. That's a cool feature, and I wonder why we didn't have that earlier, but here we have it. Okay, well, you see a tiny teaser of the episode that is gonna be out today as well. I do a quick little conclusion. I must say, my opinion changed. Having had time to play around with this update for a bit, I must say it's more significant than I thought it is, because they did do a lot under the hood. Obviously, we haven't even spoken about the fact the new entertainment tab is there. A lot of fixes in the UI, a lot of fixes in the responsiveness of the UI, and also quite a lot of things like a lot of new blueprints, a lot of new streamlined ways of, you know, naming pieces. They have added a couple of language things. They have added a couple of recolor items where they fixed the color picker. They did fix the slots for sometimes you had pieces where different color slots were available, but they didn't do anything. Now they have changed it to either they do work actually, or they took them out if they had no meaning because you only had 2 colors opposed to 3. So they did a lot under the hood. I wish they would communicate that better. I wish they would show us more what they do, because that would make us appreciate that more early and not just find out randomly while playing. And that said, I am beyond happy about the arcades. They are much better than I thought they were. They look fantastic. They look absolutely gorgeous, and all the animations, I feel like it's adding a superb atmosphere to the game, something that people will hopefully enjoy quite a lot. It adds a new layer to the theme park building experience, and that all for free. Big thumbs up from my side. Still feels like there could have been something more in it. Couple more new pieces or so would be lovely, but there are a couple new little pieces in. If you want to find out, make sure to watch tonight's video about the arcade build. You've just seen a couple seconds in here before I switched over to the trailer. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching as always. I do appreciate, I hope you enjoyed that little different format of the update video. I'll talk to you in a couple hours actually for the next episode, and if you will, in tonight's live stream. Happy day, happy exploring update 9. We're gonna talk later. Until then, bye.